Are we
All
on?
right. I think
Hey,
wow,
we
it just
are
kind of
on.
jumped in. So that was a little unexpected there. People, let's
Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by. Okay,
Yeah.
gas that.
Yeah,
Take it.
take it at midfield.
Take
Just go
it.
right now. Go to camera 3.
Can
3.
you
Go
put-
to the gate.
Thank you.
Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first.
Okay.
Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go, yep.
Can you
Go to the gate. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q. Sophie.
Wait, Fred.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait, Fred.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
we are finally on. A little bit of a connection thing going on there, but it was spinning and spinning. It was thinking about it and made sure we paid our bills, and then it said you guys are on the air. So
It had me nervous.
yeah, a little bit. But hey, you know what? It's never a Zonian show if there's not some kind of chaos and whatnot.
And
there.
our
But
required mulligans.
indeed, and you know what? We're not going to run out of mulligans this year, man. But we've already used a few at the beginning of the year, and so we're gonna hopefully, fingers crossed
Kick
that
this
we're all.
off.
But anyway, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and 8 p.m. Canal Zone time. It's happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. Ricky, happy Friday to you, man.
Happy Friday. Hey, Willie, man. Great to be back on the show, guys. As you know, it's a weekly show. And welcome, truly welcome to everyone. You know, all our viewers, our friends, our family. Truly, we really, really appreciate it. We've been here almost 2 years every Friday, and you guys are still with us. Thank you so much. As you guys know, my name is Ricky Royal, and my partner, Willie Benninghoff, both born and raised in the Canal Zone. And we just love to bring you this happy hour. It is known as the happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. A podcast, guys, dedicated completely to the Panama Canal, its history, its rich traditions, and of course, its people. All about its people, aka Zonians. You know, this is the place where you come to find out what the Zonian community is up to and how the Zonian community can help you today if you have any intentions of moving back to Panama. And Willie, that's kind of our show tonight. Anyways, guys, let's get this show. That is correct. Sorry, let's get this show started, Willie, with, like always, before I hand it over to you, with the toast to all our beautiful
Salud.
viewers. Thank you so much. Salute.
I'm doing
Almost
the
2
Mountain Dew
years.
thing myself. I've got to taken some antibiotics. So, but anyway, salute everybody. Yes,
Salute,
happy
everybody.
Friday.
Go ahead and take your medicine.
But you're absolutely right. This is a great show. You know, a lot of different things coming together. End of the month, as we approach end of the month, we always have our Canal Zone Dictionary, which is kind of a trivia. Get to know different terms, different things about the zone and about Panama. And so we're going to do a kind of a hybrid of that this week because, you know, if unless you were under a rock and you know about Panama, you know that last week was carnivals. It's a big holiday in Panama. It's a really, really big deal. So we're going to dedicate the show tonight to those festivities and to a lot of the culture in Panama. You know, some of the food, some of the locations and stuff, and then focus on all that stuff. But before we do any of that, we've got a great guest on tonight who's going to give us a lot of input and color to our carnival and that conversation anyway. But Rodolfo Arias, class of 82 BHS, I recently ran into a couple of postings on Facebook where people were mentioning that they went down to Panama for the Canal Zone reunion, had a great time, and they wanted to get some paperwork taken care of. You know, a lot of people go down and go, hey, what about getting the cedula or, you know, residency or citizenship or buying property down there?
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and several times the same person came up that they got a hold of Rodolfo Arias and he helped them out. So I said, hey, let me reach out to this guy. And you know, I've known Rodolfo since I mean, since way, way young, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, going to the Fabregas house in Ancon. And then,
Wait. I can beat that. Rodolfo's father took me out of my mother's womb, so I know the audiences from second one. And you know what, Rodolfo? I owe you a big slap because your dad did get me hard. Well, is that why I'm still upset?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. So Ricky does have a longer history, but nonetheless, Rodolfo he's again BHS class of '82, but he does a lot to help people take care of that paperwork and all that stuff. So we're going to learn all about that here, and then he's going to tell us about the carnival history, especially in Las Tablas, because he's front and center in Las Tablas, and always has been. So should be a good time. A lot of good stuff going on there. Let's say hello to a couple of folks there, and then we'll get into our K-Pasta and move right along, because we have a lot of cool information tonight. And while Ricky savors his cold one there. So, hey, good evening. How are you, Jim, Diane? Good to see you guys. We have been watching. Yes, USA is doing absolutely awesome. Hockey, they're doing good. I've been watching curling, and I know we keep talking about that whole curling thing, and I still want to go ahead and do that. But interesting that you wouldn't think that a sport where you'd have controversy and maybe some chest thumping, but that's what happened the other day in the Olympics with Canada and Sweden. They were getting kind of nasty there in curling, right? So it's don't think that it's not a tough guy sport there, but yes, I have been watching it. It's really cool, and this is when the Olympics start getting really good, right? You start getting into
peak. We're at the peak moment right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, good to see you, Frank. Yes, absolutely. Good to see you. We're going to talk. I had something on Toboga, but I wasn't able to pull it up. I'll try and get it for next week. Some interesting history about Toboga that I think you'll appreciate, Frank. You'll probably be able to chime in on that more so than we can. But Mark, good to see you, and cheers to you as well. Absolutely. Highly recommended. Yes, there you go. See, and that's what we're talking about, guys. So many people said, "Oh my God, this guy made it so easy to do this." So it makes sense that. We're kind of that window to the Canal Zone a little bit. So it would make sense to have this guy come on here and show some people how easy it is. And believe it or not, guys, it's not just your kids if you were born in the zone or in Panama, but your grandkids also have eligibility here. So it's cool. It's cool to have him on. HB, good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we know the future in Panama is legit.
Oh my God. Yes. It's just getting, this place is just flourishing. It's got a bright, bright future. And if there's a place that you want to maybe settle down or maybe get some benefits for you and your family and whatnot, Rodolfo's going to help you out with that stuff for sure. Whopping Leaf, good to see you. Last time for Panama.
Everybody's in tonight. Remember, this is the show where everybody knows your name.
Yes, that it is. This is, what? This is a show where we can laugh and talk about things that outside of the zone, people are like, why are you even bringing that up? Why is that even important? Why is that street so important? Who cares about that? But
you know what, Willie, what's important is that we are who we are, and we always act that way and
100%
and bring out our message that way, because it's important that in history, whenever people are wanting to know about the history of us, this is what they see, and this is how they see us behaving. This is who we are.
Well, we are exactly
important,
and that's why this is such a great setting for it. Happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club, because it really is, that kickback, laid back setting. I've been speaking to Lance Wiskowski. He's going to join us with that dredging show. He's going to join us the second week in March. We've already confirmed that. And he's like, well, I definitely want to do this. So, I'm not sure if I can do it. I'm like, dude, it's just Zonians hanging out, man. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, people get nervous. They do get nervous because it is a live show, so people do get nervous.
But it's fun. But it's once you do it, you're like, man, this was fun. I haven't had one person yet come on the show that after the show doesn't say, hey, man, that was great. Let's do it again. They just, it is. It's fun. It's fun to hang out with Zonians, right? It's kind of like a reunion, but you're kicking back at your house, right? Everybody's got a drink. You want to buy us a beer, feel free to on that QR code there. But yeah, this is that place to just go and do your thing and hang out with everybody. But it's also a place where we learn about the history of Panama. We learn about the history of the Canal Zone, the cultures and everything. But it's also a place where we try and be informative about things that are going on in the zone. And we do that with our good old K-Pasta message.
SCN Television presents K-Pasta. And now here's this evening's host, Army Sergeant Bob Foster.
Good evening and welcome to K-Pasta. We've got two guests tonight. There's Sergeant First Class Jim Webb. Sergeant Webster 227 military.
All right, there we go. So that's always that iconic tune. And in fact, earlier when we were doing show prep, and Rodolfo was on, as soon as I clicked on that, telling him, okay, from there we'll go here and do this. And he's like, I remember that. As soon as that tune came on, and if this was named that tune, he would have hit that button after the first 2 or 3 notes.
Oh yeah,
because
it is
instantly,
such a big part of the Canal Zone. I love it. I'm so happy we're using it.
Yeah, it's a great tune. It's an easy tune. It's pleasant to hear, and it is one that's very nostalgic, which is what this show is all about, is that nostalgia. But Ricky, what do we got going on in the zone or in
Well,
Panama?
the Zonians in the Space Coast, aka Grimacing Land. Yes, they're having a big ping ding starting. I believe it's tonight and tomorrow.
No, the 28th.
Was it next week? Okay,
yeah, next week.
Next week. So don't forget, down in Grimacing Land, big ping Zonian ping ding. There's 2 events going on back to back. I believe it's Friday, Saturday. Friday is kind of a hangout, meet and greet, and then Saturday, it's a happy hour.
It's at the Hilton Cocoa Beach oceanfront.
Correct.
The Tiki Bar there, which is always a great
nice. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. Get you guys started for the big event the following day at the VFW.
Yeah, and the VFW, correct. VFW, that one's on 105 Long Point Road in Cape Canaveral. Okay, 11:30 to 2:30, and then they have something afterwards as well. And so that looks like it'll be a good time there. Any of those events, always go to pancanalsociety.org, not Panama Canal Society, pancanalsociety.org. Go onto their website and you can get all the information you need for anything going on there. I thought I had it here at the it's
at the VFW. Carl Orvis always gets that spot secured for a very good rate. Carl Orvis, president of the Canal Zone's Panama Canal Society. Yeah. So reach out to those guys if you need any information on the website. Again, if you haven't, guys, make sure you get your registration up to date with the society, your membership. You're talking $1 and change a week is really nothing for a wonderful organization that does a lot for us Zonians. So help them help you. Isn't that what they said? What was that movie? Yeah. But you know what? It's a great thing because it's really the largest meeting throughout the year of members of the Panama Canal Society that come together. So it's an honor, really, to be able to support them. It really is.
You know where you really feel proud of that, where you really, apart from just, it always feels good to be a Zonian, right? When you wake up in the morning, you're like, wow, I was a Zonian, this is awesome. But when you're at the reunion and you go into these hotels and the people that aren't members aren't there for the reunion, that are there for some other function or whatever, and they ask you questions, but they're always asking you questions in a way of they're in awe, right? They're
correct.
Like, who are you guys, man?
Correct. They can't believe,
but they love it in a cool way. They're like, it's amazing, and that's what the society does, amongst other things. So again, less than $1, a little over $1 a week is
and
really
another announcement, Willie. I don't mean to jump on you, but since we're talking reunion, guys. As you know, the last couple of reunions, maybe the last 5 or so years, the Saturday night event really got just broken. They didn't have the dinner and then the music and the dancing. They kind of just let the dinner. You go have dinner on your own and then show up for the dancing and that kind of stuff and the socializing. And now this year they're bringing it back to a true ball like they did back in the day. That when I truly enjoyed it, because I remember we would go there and all our teachers would be there. Everybody would be there, and of course, everybody was dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
And so they're going back to that. They're not necessarily a formal dress code, but they're truly going to enforce, no shorts, no flip-flops. Just respectful, guys. You had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the dress like that, but Saturday night, they're trying to bring it back. So now they're going to
make it classy.
Yeah, make it classy. Now they're going to have happy hour from 6 to 7. Right. And then a dinner following that from 7 to 8, which every table will have a bottle of wine. And then from 8 to 9, they're going to have this pollera show come out with the murga. And then at 9 o'clock, after all that, those 3 things I just mentioned are added. Starts the reunion ball from 9 till 2 or 1. I believe it is 9 to 1. And guys, so that'll be the Saturday night, July 11th. Remember, it's the week after 4th of July, which, by the way, Wooly, I think that's a great thing. Because a lot of people are, busy on their 4th of July
100%.
activities in their communities.
Well,
So
not to mention it's expensive time to travel.
And that is correct. That is the most expensive.
I mean, the reunion's not in Kansas, right? It's in Orlando, where there's a vacation capital of the world. 4th of July weekend is a place that I don't care if you book that 2 years out, it's going to be expensive.
You know what?
That's nature you're at.
And that's all new president, vice president. Some of our friends are in there. So they're doing a good job. So far, so good. So semi-formal to formal. If you're going to the reunion, remember Saturday night, save your energy. Save your money, get into the happy hour to dinner before the reunion ball. Well, that's what I got on our announcements, Willie.
Yeah, well, another thing real quick, Warren Gibbs just sent me this, and he chimed in on the chat here. We'll throw it up here real quick. From they had a tournament here in Tampa.
Oh, how the boys do.
And, well, looks like you sent me something, Warren, but
gold. Those guys never lose.
But I do have, I'll share this screen at least real quick. And always, this is what's really cool about these guys, is it never fails that they recognize their roots.
Their roots.
And always going back to honor Panama. But Warren, I'm looking at the other screen, and it's got a exclamation point, so I don't know if it was a video or what it was, but if you can resend it, we'll definitely throw it back up there and give these guys.
Yeah, and they're finally going to be performing in Panama.
Yes, they are.
In the upcoming tournament coming up. So
correct. Next month they're going down to Panama for a jiu-jitsu tournament. So cheers to you guys, man.
Cheers to those boys. But you know what? We had them on. We asked them, hey, do you know other Panamanians? And they're like, no, I think we're the only ones on the circuit.
And
so now they're going to meet a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, no, that absolutely. And I guess I don't need to be sharing this whole giant screen here, but
I'll tell you what, that Irish beer is hitting perfectly tonight, guys.
That is, huh? So look at this. I mean, this is guys getting featured now, and he's getting a notoriety. He's getting a following. When you're on a poster, when you're, I guess, showcasing, I always use the analogy back in the day in the NBA. You knew who Michael Jordan was because the Chicago Bulls were always announced as Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, right? And so when you headline one of these places, there's something there when people are recognizing it. And he sent me some other information here where, the chat in the professional circles of the jiu-jitsu world, that these guys' names are popping up, man, that they're continuing to medal regularly in tournaments, and they're getting a notoriety. They're getting watched. People are starting to take notice of these guys, and this is just the beginning, man. So it's kind of cool here. If you guys don't know, we had these guys on a couple of months ago. Go check it out on our YouTube channel, because it's a great interview, man. These guys are really a great jiu-jitsu partnership they got going on there. It's really cool, man. It's really good to see them doing that.
Yeah, it's good to see that generation. Several, we have 2 Zonian children pitching in the major leagues. 2.
Yes.
We had the Zonian, we have a Zonian kid
in the NBA.
In the NBA, we have a Zonian kid playing goalie for our national team. So I mean, it's another cheers, because we're drinking this great beer.
And what do they
another
say,
cheers
Ricky,
to all those athletes, man, for the Canal Zone.
Well, and this is something that I know Alex has thrown up a couple of times and mentioned it, that it's being mentioned now that the Zonian is considered a subculture of the Panamanian culture, race, nationality, whatever. You have all your different peoples, and the Zonians are recognized as one of them, because I mean, you couldn't have a more parallel start. Right, you literally on 1903 on November 3rd and November 4th, you both kind of kicked off right about.
Yeah, but the Chinese were here first, though. They built it.
We're not going to get into that. The railroad. We're talking about there was no Panama without the United States, and there was no Canal Zone without Panama. And that's what I'm talking about here.
I just had to throw them a little bone, because I do have a little boaching news on there. Like we always like to update you guys.
That's Ricky's way of segueing into something here, is by, it's not, Ricky's not a merge, man. He comes into that turn and just runs through the light. And
Well,
all of a sudden he's on the highway.
we have 2 segments to this show, and where are we
Yeah,
at? 19 minutes, 20 minutes.
Through that.
All right, a quick butching news, because we like to keep you guys to date on all the stuff happening around the Panama Canal. As you know, as we've been informing you, the 2 ports that were ruled unconstitutional. So as you know, first, the courts ruled unconstitutional. Like too much corruption, too many things were left out of the contract. You guys know the whole deal. And then Plan B was put into action, which was to bring in APM terminals, which is Merck's, or whatever Willie pronounces it correctly. Maersk company. So Plan B is ready to be executed, and they had the first canal the first ACP canal administrator, Mr. Alemán Subieta, and to for the transition. Everything was peachy keen like we thought. And then the next move, which was last week, China said, you know what? We're going to sue you guys for this unconstitutional call, right?
Yeah, good luck.
And that was last week, and everything was happening, and, China, big bully, everybody in Panama was nervous about it. But then another corruption deal explodes in Peru with these ports and in other words, the same exact corruption deal as in Panama. So China now has 2 major strikes of losing their concessions.
This is not going to end there,
right? So they're like, oh, we need to change strategy, right? So the latest thing is, Panama has this ginormous mine that we all know about, right? They opened this big open mine, and then they closed it, because for the same thing, unconstitutional corruption, etc. But the mine remains there, right? And the Panamanian government has decided that the best approach, they looked at all the different approaches, right? Closing it all together, reopening it with somebody else, or whatever. They've had different approaches, but the one that has stuck until today is the mine operators that were behind the unconstitutional contract are now negotiating with the government to figure out, something else. All right. So now China's like, that's a better strategy than taking the Panamanians to court, because if they lose, they're really going to lose a lot, right? So they're trying now, Willie.
Well, I don't think they want to go to court anyway, in all honesty.
Right,
I think when you go into court and start getting discovery on things, let's not kid ourselves. We know how those operations take place, and that's what really made this whole scandal to begin with, right? And so,
well, it's a lot of families are going to fall, right? A lot of
100%.
So, but we don't give a shit. We don't care. They don't fall, right?
Nope.
So, so they're trying this new approach of staying in the game by trying to renegotiate like they did with the mine. So that's the latest updates. We'll keep you posted, but it is putting Panama. But the other twist, Willie, is that APM terminals is a European company, right?
Yeah.
And as we found out this week as well, Panama remains on this blacklist by the European Union, right? So in Panama, a few years ago, they passed a law that says retroactive, like if you do this to us, we can do it to you, right? So they passed this law. So and the reason why they passed that law was because of these lists. Because not only were we on the European list, we were on like the Peruvian list, the Colombian. Everybody had us on the list.
Guys, is there was a big scandal called the Panama Papers that came out several years ago.
Correct, Willie.
And it was incredible amounts of corruption and bribery all over the world, but it was
centered in
Panama. Panama was where all this stuff was taking place. And so the EU, amongst other organizations, said, hey, shame on you, Panama. We're putting you on a list. We can't do business with you. So this is where this is stemming from.
So Panama decided, all right, well, if you do this to us, well, because everybody's corrupt, we're not the only ones. So immediately we started falling out of everybody's list, because it was like, you can't do trade with Panama. You can't participate in Panamanian contracts. But of course, the canal's neutral, so it had nothing to do with the canal. But it could mean, a longer inspection,
and
you know what I mean.
More and more countries want to invest and do
can make
business
your life
in Panama,
difficult,
so.
right? They could.
Sure.
So we started falling out of all these lists, except this week we find out that the Europeans didn't get us off the list. So Molino was quick to remind them that if you keep us on the list, well, then you cannot do contracts in Panama. So what happens now to Plan B, where Merckx? I
Maersk.
swear I can't say that freaking word.
Maersk.
Maersk. Sounds like you have to be gay to say that word, man.
Oh,
Maersk. Kidding. What's gonna happen with them now? Who's gonna run the port? So I think that's just what China sees an in and says, you know what, we'll just keep running the ports. You know, we'll chit chat. We'll give you guys your money back. You know,
my theory, because we were discussing this morning in our chat group, and my theory is that Maersk is going to partner with somebody in the U.S., form a shell company to run this thing, and they'll be back in there and then be able to avoid us. Like, there's no way. Listen, you're not going to go through all this stuff to then turn around and give it right back to China.
Oh my God,
there's
no man, but
way that the Panamanian people are going to put up with that.
But the door, the window to that cracked open.
Yeah, I did. That it did. So,
well, all right, anyway, guys, enough on the butching news.
Yeah. So, well, good stuff, interesting stuff there. But but let's move right along there, because we do have our guest waiting in the green room, and you know he's already on about his 8th beer now.
15 minutes will be done.
But we're gonna pay our bills here real quick, and then we're gonna get our guest of honor, Rodolfo Arias, class of '82, on here. So hang on though. Let's find a spokesperson for Howler Monkey Sauce.
And here's to him.
We're still looking for our Howler Monkey Hot Sauce spokesperson. Just got an email from Panama.
You've got mail.
Hey, I'm Mac, and I grew up behind Howard Air Force Base in Panama. I can talk about hot sauce. On pizza, uy, que rico. So I just miro la camera and say, I'm Mac. I grew up in these trees next to Howard Air Force Base. Hey, are we really going to Napoli? And let me tell you, the flavors of ají chombo, garlic, and onions, they each hit you one at a time, and it's so delicious. Howler Monkey Original brings the true taste ají chombo of Panama to your pizza game.
Do you know a Howler Monkey who can describe the sweet heat of our original with authentic ají chombo peppers, or the fresh punch of verde where habanero warmth meets crisp bell pepper? How about the bold tang of Amarillo, yellow Scotch bonnets blended with mustard seeds? And of course, our hot, the same great flavor as original, fired up with red habaneros for that fire. Our sauces are all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, pure flavor and pure fire. Are you the next Howler Monkey spokesperson?
Those commercials, man.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Howler Monkey Sauce, for that. We are having some technical issues. There he is. He's popping in and out here. But Rodolfo, welcome to Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club, BHS Class of 82's Rodolfo Arias. How you doing, man? Okay, Rodolfo, you there? You with us?
Rodolfo, well,
here we go.
Always at the end.
There we go. You there? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Welcome to the show, man. Happy hour to you, and salute, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being able to explain to all the people listening today how simple it is to get your citizenship, and the ways that I can help you do it.
Absolutely.
Okay? The first thing you need to know is that anybody born in the Canal Zone is a Panamanian. However, if you were not registered at birth or by your parents, there is a process that we need to go through, and all of that. Obviously, we can discuss in private.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll touch on those things. Let's give a little bit of context here, and who Rodolfo is first and foremost here. BHS Class of 82, like Ricky and I were earlier competing against Who Knew You earlier. I remember you from living in Ancon, right in that cul-de-sac there, the same place where the Fabregas live. Who else lived there? The Ocañas.
Yeah, and Brian and Mike Laverty were there also
Yep.
until
they were next door to you, weren't they?
They were next door to my house, right?
Yes, and then Villalobos also lived there.
Yeah, right next on the other side.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And then
true.
Yeah, so
true.
But and you went to Ancon Elementary School, or did you go to St. Mary's? I don't remember now.
I went to Ancon Elementary, then Corundu, then Balboa.
Okay, all right.
Okay, right on.
And I know, like I said earlier, his father was a doctor at Gorgas Hospital, pediatrician, delivered many Zonian babies.
Gynecologist.
There you go.
Oh, well.
My father was a obstetrician.
You're right. You're right. But he's the one that gave the babies, right? Because I know he took me out in many Zonian babies.
He's the one that took them out. Then the pediatrician received them and took care of them.
Got it.
My dad was the one that slapped you.
Yeah, he's the one that got us all to be straight and well behaved.
There you go. No, absolutely. Great memories there. Parita Place. Where's Parita Place?
That's where they lived. Oh, sorry, Willie. God, dale, Willie.
Yeah, no. I was asking. I was gonna say. I think that was the cul-de-sac there, wasn't it?
Parita Place. Child cancer would know. Yes, for sure.
Yes, that's the name of the street. Yeah.
That was cool. Good times there. Yeah, the Fabregas lived there. So, my dad and Mr. Fabrega worked together, Canal Zone Police. And so, Roberto Antonio and I, spent a lot of time together growing up. So I spent, quite a few weekends over there and running around. And that was one of the things that we would go. They were quail eggs, right? Did you guys raise quail?
My dad, that was his hobby.
Yes. Because he had a bunch of cages and all these rows of quail and tiny little quail eggs and stuff. That was cool, man. Yeah.
And then he would chase us out. I remember the tables. Your dad used to also do these tables.
Yep. True. The tables with the stones, with the rocks.
Ooh, quartz. Okay. They were like quartz, right? The shiny rocks.
He used to get. He knew the rocks. I never knew about that stuff, and he had a machine that would cut them into slabs, and then they put them in, and they did the tables from zero.
And they put like an epoxy over them, right?
Yeah. It was fiberglass resin.
Yeah. That would make for like a great bar top and stuff too, man.
Oh yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that in one of a Marriott project that I did, a Marriott bar that I did. We did the same exact tops. So awesome. Those are very popular.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So now, Rodolfo, you graduated BHS and then you came to the States for a while, right, to go to school?
I graduated BHS. I stayed in Panama, worked in insurance. Then during the Noriega times, I went to the States. I finished college up there. Came back down, worked in different things, went into politics, was a senator in the Central American Parliament for 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
You were elected for that too.
I was elected there. After that, I left politics and did insurance for some time, and went to law school, and now I'm an attorney. I sold my insurance business. Not exactly sold it. I merged it with another company, and I'm doing all their legal work. So that's basically where I'm
a very good foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a great way to then kick off what we're going to talk about here tonight. And then Donna had that great comment there, which is kind of what got me to reach out to you when I saw several people posting that you helped them out with this and stuff. So, without obviously going into a long, diatribe on the legalities and what to do here, but, your information's there. We can see on the card there that's behind the comment here, but all your information's on there as well. And of course, you guys can reference it back again. That number there is also on your WhatsApp. Is that correct?
That is my WhatsApp number.
Okay, so everybody, if you're on WhatsApp, and if you're not, you should be on WhatsApp in 2026, for God's sakes. But anyway, WhatsApp,
especially if you're dealing with Panama, all Panamanians are on WhatsApp. That is just the 100%. Way of communicating.
Well, it's encrypted. You can send documents back and forth, and if you're dealing with Rodolfo, you're probably going to want to, send some things back and forth. It's an easy way to do it.
You don't have the size limitation that you have with an email.
Correct.
Oh,
correct.
Right on. Good to know.
Yep. So, but anyhow, tell us real quick then what the scope is of like you just said earlier, who you're born down there, if you haven't done this and you got to do the following, and then we'll kind of switch gears a little bit into some of the opportunities for moving to Panama and what you can do to help out there.
Yeah,
And then we're
sure.
going to start talking Carnival.
Yeah, we can. What I can do for you basically is, if you were born here but were not registered here, I can do the process for you with your help. Obviously, there's stuff that needs to be done in the States. I presented a formal request on some information because a lot of people have their Gorgas Hospital birth certificate, but they were not registered. And what I was told at the beginning was that you have to go through the State Department.
And now, when you say registered when they were born, it had to be registered with Panama. Is that
correct? With Panama, yes.
Okay. Gotcha. And most people, I'm assuming, just didn't know to do that.
Right. Some people did it. Some people didn't. However, it's your birthright. And however, being born in the Canal Zone, I was told at one moment that you have to go to the occurrences section of the State Department, where all these births are recorded,
right,
and get their verification that it is correct. Gotcha. However, I sent in a formal request asking if the Gorgas Hospital birth certificate would suffice, and I haven't gotten the answer. I thought I would have had it because it was a couple of weeks ago that I asked for that, but they still haven't given me a formal answer. Okay. So on the other side, if you are a registered Panamanian and you have your cedula number and all this other stuff, registering your children is much simpler.
Okay.
And
and grandchildren as well. Is that correct?
And grandchildren as well.
Excellent.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Well, Rodolfo, I just got a text. You've got two new clients.
Nice.
Okay.
Right on.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we're going to be forwarding their names right now.
I'll send you each a case of Panama beer.
Beautiful. All right. I got two clients, my two nephews. Uncle Rick, I need his number right now. Two little royals.
It really is something that question pops up on a lot of the Zonian social media channels all the time is, hey, how do I get my cedula? Hey, what do I need to do? I can't find my paperwork, or I was born in Gorgas,
the first thing you need to know is where you're at that moment. Okay, if you are registered, then all you have to do is go over there, fill out some papers, and get your cedula, your picture.
Okay.
If you're not registered, then you got to get registered.
You can get it through the consulate.
I got a question here. Can I get my cedula fully remote from the U.S.? No. I can do all the paperwork while you're in the States, but you have to come down here and take your picture here.
Now, let me ask you this. Speaking of that, and this will apply, and we'll do a shameless plug of the class of 82's upcoming Canal Zone reunion next year, okay? But people are planning on going and maybe spending a week or two down in Panama in January of next year.
Yes.
Can that get done in a couple of days there if they do everything ahead of time?
If they send me the information, all of the documentation, I can get it done before they come here.
Okay.
So
how much
American
lead time do you want somebody to give
Commerce
you?
of Hawaii, right?
Yes. Hi, saying hello. American
Hello,
President
Mr. William.
Hello there. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. So real quick, how much notice do you want to have to get this stuff done? Because keep in mind, guys, this is around the holidays, right?
It's not very hard what you need to get. You need to get, I have to send you a power of attorney, which you have to print and you have to sign and you have to apostille over there.
Okay.
And then you got to get your birth certificate apostilled also. The
apostilled is more like a much stronger version of
it's
notarized.
An international notary.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It's an international notary. You need to get the passport of your non-Panamanian father or mother, parent, apostilled also. and then there's a sworn affidavit that your parent has to sign, indicating that you got to get a residence here in Panama. I take care of that.
Okay. Now, in the event that the person's applying, but their parents are deceased.
Okay. In the event their parents are deceased, if they were registered, then there's a different process.
Okay. But it's still doable.
It is doable.
Okay, wonderful. And if they weren't registered?
I am working on that right now with somebody else. But first, we have to nationalize her mother's death certificate. Register her mother's death in Panama, so we can go through that.
Gotcha.
Through that path.
So there's other steps, but it is something that is able to be done as well. So don't think that because it happened.
It is. Let me tell you something. I had a partner when I was also in politics. I was a manager of a consulting firm through Central America.
Okay.
And this guy that I worked for was maybe 70 years old. Mm-hmm. His grandmother was born in Coco Solo, and he managed to get his Panamanian passport. So
right on.
Yeah. So it is doable. It is totally doable.
You obviously have experience with that, so that obviously helps.
It is well, I didn't do that one at that time because I still wasn't an attorney, but I know how to do it.
Right on.
Got you. Rodolfo, I'm getting some more text here. I got a question for you. What about Panamanian citizenship for American spouses of Panamanians?
Okay, that is a more complicated process. And when I say complicated, is basically it takes more time.
Okay.
It was taking from start to finish around 6 years. Wow. I understand that this government has lowered that amount. I don't know what the time is right now. The time frame is right now. However,
6 years.
Because you got to become a resident first, and then you got to apply with all.
I don't want somebody
residents.
Overnight to do this thing and suddenly, hey, let's get married and be a citizen and gone.
It's like in the States, you get a residency first, you get a green card, and then you apply for citizenship.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
So yeah, so if you want to become a citizen, you can do it. But if you need a visa in order to be able to stay in the country for a longer time than what is permitted for tourists, you can get a pensionado visa, and you get all of the benefits that we at our age right now are getting for being over 60 years old.
Okay.
You get restaurant discounts, movie theater discounts, medicine
25%.
You get airplane ticket discounts.
Wow.
It's very good. And
well, there you go, guys. If you want to make that trip to Panama for that Canal Zone reunion, Copa Airlines has some great deals, but get your pensionado stuff set up and get a little bit of a discount there, man.
Exactly.
Save yourself some money.
And the pensionado visa is a one-day process. You go in the morning without it, and you leave with it.
And because you can see on the screen there that Rodolfo works for Seiko, so everything's good. It's just send some bottles his way and he's happy. So no, obviously not. That's not going to work. Trust me. You'll talk about 6 years, maybe about 60 years before you get your paperwork done if you do that.
But you know what? So. Rodolfo's got a point about this government. What I recently saw, Rodolfo, was they're also trying to fast track as many foreigners as they can to be Panamanian citizens. Now, if you get a 4-year degree and graduate in Panamanian universities, like, for example, FSU or University of Panama, etc., and you stay an additional 2 years of working, with a pensionado visa, then you can get your resident alien card.
No, you can't work with a pensionado visa. You got to get a work visa.
Work visa. Okay, good.
Pensionado visa allows you to stay here, but you can't formally work. Okay,
in essence, is retired.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more for the expat
you need
community.
you need to have proof of that you can maintain yourself without having to work
Sure.
here.
That you're not going to come there and become a ward of the state in essence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's capturing more professionals for the
Now,
Panamanian economy.
I want to go back to two comments that you guys did before with regards to the Panama Papers. And if it's very certain that the law firm that did all those companies was a Panamanian based law firm, none of the companies that were involved in those scandals was a Panamanian corporation.
Very
Isn't that
good.
interesting?
Good to know. That's good to know.
So
Yeah, they're all foreigners taking advantage.
There's a Spanish senator at the European Parliament that clearly said the wrongfully called Panama Papers.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. So it's just a big stigma there. And unfortunately, because, like a lot of Latin America has a history of corruption, it was easy to stick that name to it.
Exactly.
But wow, that's interesting. That we've discussed having a show about that. And Rodolfo, I think that's one of those that we may invite you to come back.
Yes,
and give us some insight on that,
absolutely. We want to talk about that.
That's a really, really big deal.
I'd love to because awesome. There's a lot of stuff that is not explained correctly.
Sure.
And as
Purposely.
they say, 1,000 times a lie is told, and it becomes true.
The truth.
So,
amen to that, brother.
Yeah. And,
no kidding. We'll definitely have to revisit that because that's a big deal. It was a big scandal when it first broke out.
My other practice is corporate law, so I'm very familiar with all that.
Yeah, that's right up your alley then.
Almost every day.
Well, that'll be a good show.
Yeah,
so
indeed it will. Indeed it will.
I can help you do.
Well, let's do this. We're gonna move on to our next segment, which obviously you're going to be staying with us because you bring a lot of history and color to the history of Panama and these traditions. But real quick, before we move on, and if anybody needs to still, make sure you write this number down. It's 507-6612-7746. That's his number. You can reach him on WhatsApp. So anywhere in the world, you can dial that number. It'll reach him. Get a hold of him there. You can message him there. You can send him. He can give you the address where to send a bottle of Seiko, all that good stuff. But reach out to him if you want to get stuff done. And don't be like a typical Zonian and wait till January 20th to send him that information.
You won't get your settle out of that day.
Yeah, you'll get a wasted trip if that's what you're going.
Before we segment off to our next part is, Rodolfo, on maybe when we bring you back, could you let us and our viewers know more about how to obtain medical insurance or how the whole medical insurance works for us people that are us guys that are trying to figure out whether we're going to retire down there or not? I mean, I'm going to retire there for sure, but just when. But one of the things that always I think about is, what insurance am I going to use? So how do you know about that? Are you familiar with that? Can you inform us on that?
I know certain things. When I was in insurance, my practice was mostly in property and in auto insurance. I was not much into life or health insurance. However, I do represent, and they are my clients, a company that is called Plan Med, which specializes in health insurance for elderly people.
Oh, wow.
When I say elderly people, I'm saying people over 50.
Sure.
Okay, that if you go try to get a regular insurance policy, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yes,
I don't know how to do it, guys.
Over here, it's more affordable. It is simpler to get.
And so there you go, guys. Look up Plan Med in Panama if you've got any insurance inquiries. And then, of course, reach out to Rodolfo. He can certainly put you in touch with somebody if that's the case there, and really learn. Because, listen, guys, there are a lot of us Zonians out there that, we left and we certainly want to go back. More and more of the Zonians seem to be going and relocating back. So
the other thing I would suggest, if you have U.S. insurance, to see what their policies is in regards to overseas coverage.
Good point.
Okay, international coverage, and you could probably find out with the local hospitals. As I told you guys before the show, I used to have a U.S. insurance policy, and I lived in Panama, and they covered
Wow.
me down here. Yeah, but it was an international a policy
Sure.
that they sold. And I had to get an operation on my wrist, and I just went into the hospital, said, "Okay, this is my insurance," and said, "Well, what day do you want to get operated?" That was it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah. And somebody else is throwing in the chat here. Let me see. What is that? Did you get it there, Ricky?
Me, of course, always clicking it when you.
Yeah, here you got.
I'll keep my hands off it, Willie.
Aetna, BCBS, and TRICARE accepted at Panama Clinic, for example.
There you go. There you go. So there's some information there. And again, guys, don't assume this stuff. Find out. You have an expert, a fellow Zonian, BHS graduate. Reach out to him and find out what's going on there. And know before you go, obviously. Don't wait till the last minute to do it. But you got a great resource here. And as Donna said earlier, she got it for her daughter and it got it taken care of right away, right? Leaf even just chimed in something about if you get your cedula first, then the passport, you can get it pretty much in 24 hours.
Yeah, if you have your cedula, you can go and get your passport right away.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff there, guys. So, but let's tell you what, guys, now let's transition to something, and I hate to say something more fun because, I mean, this is great, important stuff, but it's not like, oh, man, it's awesome, but very, very important stuff. But let's have a little bit of fun here, right? Because we're going to do some Canal Zone nostalgia. Like I said earlier, with the whole carnival and everything going on in Panama right now, the nostalgia is going to focus on Panama, not on the zone this time, except for the first article, which you'll find kind of interesting for the stinky feet folks. But let's do our Canal Zone dictionary with our special guest, Rodolfo, here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Balboa Yacht Club, this is Canal Zone Dictionary. The rules are simple. Define it or be defined. In the blue corner,
he's tougher than a Chiva bus ride in the rainy season. Sharper than Sosa Hill sawgrass. As a kid, he almost ran the length of El Prado. Ricky, the Capira Kid. Royo!
And in the red corner, faster than a PCC rotary phone, cooler than a Panama beer with no ice. Set a record for 11 straight weeks of being sent to the principal's office at St. Mary's.
Willie, the goat of the goalpost. Benninghoff.
2 Zonians, 1 dictionary, no guessing. Well, I mean, you might want to guess. Anyway, only definitions and glory. Are you ready to hear Ricky and Willie say some amazing, magniloquent responses, and in some cases, just plain horse manure? Let's get ready for Canal Zone Dictionary.
Let's look for some horse manure here or some magnificent stuff. I think that was the term there.
There's a Q in there. I can never repronounce that word.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out because it is a good word and it's it's probably an important word. But real quick, going back to your previous question, my brother Scott. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, Scotty.
What about expired cedulas?
That I know you can do through the consulate.
That you could probably do through the consulate.
Yeah, because I've done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Okay, good. Well, that's an easy one then. Right on.
Love
Ring Alivio. Yeah, Ring Alivio was a great game.
That's a great game. Is that a Panamanian game or a
it
Zonian
is.
game, or is that an international game that everybody else played?
I play it in Panama and in the zone.
But like Costa Rica play that,
That's what I'm wondering, or even
Kansas play that.
That would be interesting.
That's
would be
interesting to
find
know.
out. Yeah, but that was a great game, Sheila. No kidding, man. A lot of fun. Okay, so first thing that came up, and this was, what we've done is we take the Canal Zone dictionary, and now there's this Notebook LM, which is a fantastic AI tool. And what we do is you can throw different sources in there. We've taken this dictionary converted to a PDF, so it pulls quizzes and information out of it. And some way, shape, or form, this came into that conversation. I'm not sure why it was, but I just found it interesting anyway. And it was talking about the hot closets, and those lights. And again, it's like a lot of things that we come across in this show. As we learn about them or that we see them, we're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's just kind of one of those things that faded away.
So the word on this one's called a hot closet, right?
Yes.
What is a hot closet? Got it.
Yes.
Understood. All right, that's a good one.
And so what it was because of the extreme humidity and the different, mold and bacteria and everything that would grow, they had the term they use there, beards of mold growth coming out of the shoes. And I think, for a lot of kids, especially when you go into puberty, you get the funk in your shoes, man. I think we all go through, my kids went through it, it's just one of those things. And obviously in Panama, especially with all the humidity and the mold and everything. So what they did was you had to create a warm, dry environment. And so in a lot of places, they had the light bulbs. You remember going in the closet, different areas in your home, and you had a light bulb that was always on. There was no light switch anywhere to turn it off. And, what the hell is that all about? And it was one of these here. Now, Rodolfo, you were telling us that in your case, it was a little bit different. It wasn't a light bulb.
It was like a metal bar.
Okay.
But it was always hot. It had a protector so that one wouldn't get burned. And we also had one in the cupboard where we had all the spices. So,
makes sense.
Yeah. So the salt was never clogged up or
right.
Moist.
All clumpy and everything. Yeah, I can imagine. So, and let's see here what John's saying here. The heat lamps bulb or screw in the heaters, they had a wire. Yes, they did. So you wouldn't get burned. I remember those. And it was always bizarre because as a kid, you pay attention for a few minutes and then you go and do something else. But there wasn't a light switch anywhere to turn it off. Right. Those things are always on. And I guess in my case, I was one of those that didn't sleep well at night. My brother used to love to put on Creature Feature at night and scare the shit out of me. So, a light coming out of the closet was A-okay with me, man, because the darkness is a part I didn't dig too much, man. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting way to kick this off. Wasn't really the traditional Panama we're looking at there, but nonetheless, it was like Paul saying here, kept the mildew away. It did, it was effective. I remember, not related to that, but a place where you could keep some of your stuff dry in Panama. I would see a lot at my aunts and uncles' houses. Was you'd put some of that stuff in your oven, right? You'd keep certain stuff in the oven because it would keep there. Yes, the oven was dry. It was a place that was, for the most part, dry, and so my aunt and uncle kept a lot of their stuff would be in the oven when they weren't cooking with it. But
and the piano is also an interesting fact there,
right?
To keep that from being out of tune.
Now, the other thing that we saw on here, and Ricky and I were talking about it. You see at the bottom of the screen there in the middle, it says "free commission electricity." To encourage constant use, the Isthmian Canal Commission provided free electricity to employees. Now, the fact that it says the Isthmian Canal Commission means this was probably a long time ago because, the ICC ceased to exist a long, long time ago during the American era. But, I do remember talk of some of the privileges of being a Zonian is that you got a lot of freebies or a lot of very inexpensive things. And so,
you had your air conditioning running all day long.
All day long.
You couldn't do that in Panama.
Right? Brought my motorcycle upstairs to the AC when it went there. Yeah, no kidding. Heck yeah, man. No, it's true. The climate in Panama is not forgiving. Let's not kid ourselves, man. It is humid. If the first time you go back to Panama after having left for a long time, you don't even have to get out of the plane to feel it. As soon as they
what's amazing is when you come out of the airport and it truly slaps you. I mean, it
really does.
It truly hits you. Pow! Like you ran into something.
Yes,
and like that graphic shows. Truly, it's just like you're running into a sheet of water.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it really was just like that. It's frustrating, especially imagine for Rodolfo, you're going out to a big meeting somewhere with your lawyers and stuff, and you're sweating, man. I mean, it's just
I don't wear a suit and tie anymore.
Yeah, I don't
guess
see anybody
that's why the
wearing that.
Guayaberas were so popular as business attire in Panama.
At that time,
Yeah, Willie, there you go. In the 70s, they paid electricity because Willie and I were talking about that. I remember my parents always saying, "No, turn off the lights, guys. You're wasting electricity," or "Turn off the air conditioner if you're not downstairs," or stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was like maybe 2/4.
Yeah, so that may have been an older story than from maybe back in the day, because like I said, it did say the ICC, which was way before the Panama Canal Commission, and then of course the Panama Canal Company.
Hey,
and the
Matthew.
ICC before that. So, hey, Matthew, how you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Fumigation truck every night in Balboa. Yes, that's it. That fumigation truck, man, that is world
Wow.
famous, man.
Yeah.
Everybody brings that one up, man. But all right, so let's move along then to the next one here. Now we're going to get a little bit more traditional, some interesting Panama stuff here. You know, carnivals in this time of the year, a lot of people go into the interior, especially just because it's dry season anyway. It's a great time to go and visit those areas. A lot of us are familiar with El Valle. A lot of us have been there, but I just thought this was kind of cool, interesting information on El Valle and some things that you may have known or not known about El Valle. And Ricky, what was the one that you said earlier that it was what the largest what?
It's the largest
Rodolfo, you said it.
inhabited volcano crater in the world.
Look at that. The largest
Inhabited, right.
in the world, not in Central
El
America.
Valle
the
is like
world.
that, huh? Oh, that's what it looks like.
That's the last I read or heard was that.
Oh no, I believe it. I totally believe it. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. That's what it looked like, but that's what it is. El
And
Valle.
you know, when we grew up down there, a lot of us, you know, Zonians that left Panama, and you know, when we lived down there, the country was much smaller. And not in geographic size, but just in getting around and things.
Of course.
You know, where now El Valle is right down the street. You know, it's amazing how that has changed. But back then, as it says there, this was kind of the gateway to the interior. You know, and when you talk about, you know, we'll get into carnivals later on with Las Tablas. Las Tablas was a haul back in the day. That was
El Valle was a haul.
Yes,
because you had to get up and down that hill. And that road was pretty bad.
Now, I'll tell you what, one vacation that we spent there, and I think this was our warm up to take the camper up to the U.S. through Central America. We took it to El Valle, and we stayed there with family or whatever. But there was a day there where my brother and I rode our bicycles from the top of that hill all the way down into the town with my dad behind us, of course. And it's just interesting, you know, amazing memory. But you know, it's one of those I look back at now and going,
yeah, a lot of Zonians.
I wouldn't let my kids do that.
A lot of Zonians live there now, Willie. A lot of expats too. It's a big expat community.
El Valle is very much a lot of expats in there. But a couple interesting things about El Valle: the famous square trees. I don't recall ever seeing those, but
let me just clear something up. I just found this. It's not the largest, but it's one of the 3 largest.
Okay, gotcha. Good enough. Top 3 is good enough for
Top
me, man.
3 is good. You're on the medal stand.
Yep, there you go. Exactly. You're on the podium. Yeah. Absolutely. Good call. So now the square trees, I don't remember seeing those, but that is something that's, you know, unique to that area. Think about it. You're in a volcano, an extinct volcano. Yeah, it's isolated, right? A lot of things don't get in and out, right? And so sometimes things that are growing in those areas, they die off everywhere else, but they kind of stay in those unique to those environments, you know, or those ecosystems.
Yeah, on the way to the beach, there was on the way up on the right, there was a square tree that you always went by.
Right. Okay. I don't remember that, but you know, and this is, as you recall from last week's show, we learned about the bird cages, right? Yeah. And this is those areas where you'd see them is getting into El Valle and you know, in Azuero and all that area there. But those are also very unique to it. And then, as you can see in the middle of the screen there, the Panama beer. No, that's something. That's bias a beer. The Golden Frog. That again is known for that location. It's a very rare and very unique species.
How big are those
amphibian.
frogs? I have never seen one, but I heard they're like tiny.
They're very small. They're very small.
Like quarter size, 50-cent piece.
They have them also in Puerto Rico. It's called the coqui.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But they're all. I understand the ones in Puerto Rico are all gold. These are gold and black. And
interesting.
And
they're poisonous.
Yes.
So no touching them, right? Or is it that when they spit that goo?
The prettier the frog is, the more poisonous it is.
Wow.
And that's kind of the warning, Mother Nature's warning. If you look really, really hot, stay away.
Yeah.
So interesting. So that's El Valle there. If you haven't been there, then wow, would you?
You'll do a trip there because there's a lot of good stuff there. Good food and a lot of spas and boutique hotels that I've seen people post on Instagram.
Well, I think just by the nature of where it's located, it's not a place where you can just have mega expansion, right? I think it'll always remain very rustic and small.
That's true.
You know?
They have a great zoo there as well.
Now, is that considered like a national, park area or something, a protected area, I wonder?
I don't know.
Interesting.
That part, I don't know.
That would be interesting. So, but anyway, so that's El Valle for you. Now let's switch gears, guys. Let's talk about some other Panamanian traditions, especially during carnivals. You experience this if as a Zonian, if you went to the interior for carnivals, Las Tablas, Penolome. I used to go to Agua Dulce a lot because my family had property out there. But let's talk about some food, man. Some good eating in Panama, and two of those that you get a lot from the vendors out there are the bollos and tamales.
I've never bollo. Never liked that very much.
But interesting thing about them, what makes them each one. Obviously, the mainstay on both of these is corn, right? The other commonalities you can see on there is that they are boiled. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rodolfo, but they are both made by initially boiling them, correct?
Yeah, you finish cooking them in boiling water.
That's what it is. Okay, so you initially start.
You have the cornmeal. And then you if it's a tamale, you fill it up with pork or with chicken.
Yep.
And other stuff, and then you wrap it around in the leaf and you put it in the water to cook the meal, the cornmeal, because the pork or the chicken is already cooked.
Oh, that's right. Yes, and those they had to have the raisins. If you didn't have the raisins, that makes all the difference.
Well,
oh my God.
That's a matter of that's your opinion.
We're gonna have a parliamentary objection here, but there you go. So the tamales are in a banana leaf, whereas the bollos are actually cooked in the corn husk. Correct.
In the corn husk, exactly.
Yes. But they're both, banana leaves are they come in handy.
And the tamales are the tougher corn, and the bollo is the new corn, maíz nuevo.
Oh, okay.
It's like a softer.
Yeah.
Probably sweeter, maybe even.
It's sweeter.
Yeah. Okay.
It is sweeter.
Yeah. So of the two of them, I think for me the tamales, I think was probably my favorite of the two.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I never really liked bollo.
And but
like you chew that forever.
Probably. Well, when I imagine in the interior back in the day, there's probably an easier to cook and easy to transport and keep and eat. So it's probably good food, good eating there. Yeah, Eric, appreciate it, man. We're trying to, this year we've really gone more towards the information, the nostalgia. So
well,
and we've got good sponsorship for all this AI cool stuff that we're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Frank's telling us bollo smothered with butter. Okay. Right on. There you go.
Yep. Hey, Frank Alberga.
And I have heard that on some of these, or no, it's not for this, it's for something else. I'm not going to spoil it and give it away now. But so now bollos and tamales. I'm the tamales guy myself. I'm not so much of a bollo guy. But there you go, guys. Next, if you're class of '82 going down to Panama, now you know which one to order, man, and get the tamale. You'll like
get
that
your
one better.
Tamale, yeah. Banana leaf. Many use for banana leaves.
Now, this one, everybody knows about it, but we're still going to chat about it a little bit because this was something that helped many, many people in the zone, probably Saturday mornings for sure, maybe even Sunday mornings. But, when you had that long night out, boy, nothing like a good bowl of sancocho.
I can talk sancocho all day long. That is my number one dish that I cook. For any of you ladies are interested in marrying me, you're going to be eating a lot of sancocho.
There you go. If you like sancocho, you got to marry Ricky then. Okay? Right on. So sancocho. Couple interesting things about sancocho. Very simple to make. Here's one of them. And when I started looking at the ingredients on this thing, right? And just, again, curiosity. It wasn't like I was looking up a recipe to cook it. But I always remembered the term culantro.
Yeah.
And then I get here to the States and everyone's like, no, dude, it's cilantro, man. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And so forever I was like, okay, well, I guess one was a Panama version and one was the name of it in the States. No, it turns out culantro and cilantro are two completely
different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, we have to use cilantro here, guys.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you can't find culantro hardly anywhere here. But they have that, the ñame, which again, this one, I said this, my wife has been on a sweet potato craze. We're trying to switch over to a Mediterranean diet. Which I don't know how the hell that goes to sweet potato. I don't think those two are synonymous. But anyway, she's on this sweet potato craze and she's making, she's putting that shit in everything, man. It's just incredible. Actually, some of it's pretty good. But anyway, I didn't know that was what what
Recao.
ñame was. Ñame is sweet potato. And so
No,
they're
it's not.
That's
No,
what it
I was
says
going to
there.
say it's
No,
a
it's
different
not.
color.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. No.
So
What
ñame
is-
is not okay because it says yam.
No,
and not-
they call
Yeah, I
it-
know. I
they
saw
call
that
it
too.
Yam, but it's not
okay.
that.
Because
It's
I would
not.
imagine that, and sweet potato probably wouldn't be something that would be synonymous with the Panama region
No,
anyway.
at least here in Panama, ñame, I mean, sweet potato is camote. And it's orange.
Okay.
It's orange in color or purple.
Well, I'm going to give a B rating to Notebook LM because they just made me look like a fool.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. But there is a yam that's orange, and I think there is.
Well, the yam is orange.
White,
The sweet potato and yam are the same thing.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
call-
Okay.
they
Yeah.
call the ñame, and this isn't the first time I've seen it called yam, but it's
Okay.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's why we bring this guy on
It's
here,
not
guys. So
the
listen,
yam
you
that
can,
you know in
not
the
only
States.
can you get a cedula and residency, you're also going to get somebody that's going to correct you on your eating in Panama while you're at it. So make
Well,
sure
at
you
least
have
the
to
right,
go
the
to
right,
Hills
the right
Strike, man.
ingredients. But so yam is the one that I haven't been able to get. But otoy, guys, as you see there, it's taro root, by the way, here in the States. Yeah.
Okay.
The taro root is you got otoy, which is purple, and you got
Correct.
manga, which is white, which is a taro root. And they're basically the same thing. They only change in color.
Correct.
Okay.
So we
right
can
on.
get taro root here, at least in the West Coast, California. You can.
Yeah.
And of course Hawaii, because they make poi out of that.
Yep.
And
And
then
so
we
now
can we can get yucca here as well. I don't know
Yes.
about the East.
Oh yeah, you can get yucca. That one definitely get it. It's pretty
Yeah.
common here. Yucca's the interesting one, man, because that one's toxic if you don't cook it. You know.
Yeah, Can Zero's saying the same thing, that it's the
When they
sweet
proceed-
potato.
Yes, exactly. Listen, I make fun of my wife all the time because of it. She's like, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" I was like, "Oh, let me guess, yams." And she's like, "Oh, sweet potatoes." Yeah, it's called a yam here. That's
All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
try
what-
that on my next.
I've always
sancocho.
known sweet potatoes as yams, but ñame,
Yeah.
I never known the name in English for it. So
okay. We're gonna have to find that one out. And Father's engineer on the tugs made a great sancocho. Always needed yucca. Yes, right on.
Yucca
So we're gonna
yam,
find out what that whole yame thing is, and see which one the actual real name is on that. But real simple to make: chicken, water, salt, culantro.
it's not chicken, it's hen. It's
Hen.
gallina, not pollo, man.
Okay,
Chicken pollo.
and tell us the differences in this and why it's specific. And it says it on the right side, that secret of the tough hen, as you can mention there. What's the whole
Yeah.
point of that?
That's how they do it. That's how they do it. It's a grazing hen that's in the yard eating anything that finds.
Free
and-
roaming.
Yeah, it's roaming there, and
Okay.
it's a tougher meat. I don't like it personally, but that's how they do it.
Yeah, and from the text there,
It's
it's saying that
greasier.
it's well, and also that it holds together because remember, this is cooking for a long time. It simmers forever, and
Yeah.
so any type of you throw some
There-
chicken into there,
you
it'll
go.
fall apart.
There you go.
Gallina de patio.
patio. That's the one.
Okay,
Yep.
right on. Yeah, so you have to have one of those. Regional favorite sancocho chorrerano is notably spicier,
Yeah,
and of course, any food that you want to make it notably spicy but still delicious, you got to use what? Howler sauce.
monkey.
You got
That's
4 different
correct.
sauces. You got verde. You got
Yeah,
amarillo.
Willie, that was good, man. That's the first
How about
time we've done
that?
that. Let's do more of that. Let's do more of that.
Yes, that was very subtle. Very subtle. What do they call those? Unabashed
Plugs.
promo. A shameless promo. Shameless
Yeah,
plug.
cool. Right
Yeah,
on,
it was.
Willie.
So, of course, now cultural significance of sancocho. Well, again, we know the ultimate cure-all. I mean, everything,
Yep.
especially hangovers. You took yourself a good sancocho, and you did feel better, no doubt about it. The rice ritual, traditionally served with white rice, either mixed directly into the broth or dip. So what's your choice there? Because I do remember that. Some people, you have the bowl separate. You take your scoop of rice, you dip it in there, and you eat it. Or others will throw. I was a mixer. I threw mine in to mix it.
I was a
I'm a
dipper. Yeah, I
You're
didn't
a
like
dipper,
mixing.
of course.
Yeah.
All right, well, of course. Right on. Yeah, that was, for me, that was the way to do it. Throw that stuff in there. And to this day, I'm still like that. You know, if I got some soup and there's rice out there, they get mixed. They definitely get mixed, you know.
They all go
I'm
into the
not
gumbo.
a plain rice eater for sure, man. But and then a symbol of family bonding for sure.
For
I mean,
sure,
that's as instrumental. If a good sancocho really is. I mean, it really is a place to gather at the table and bond and get together. So right on there. So now you know, guys, a little sancocho stuff. Remember, it's a hen. Okay, don't use those young chickens. They're no good.
Well, you know what? I use thighs because it's greasier and you get a better broth, better tasting
gives you
chicken.
better flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, thighs.
Indeed.
I go with the thighs.
Indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
And like anything else, guys, whenever you're cooking and simmering something, try and brown the meat a little bit if you can to get some of that flavor out of it. That's just my culinary school there, but it's you got to brown it, otherwise you don't get flavor out of it.
And question: do you leave the skin on?
Heck yeah!
All right,
Yes.
okay, cool. And then take it off before you eat it, right?
If you want.
If
Yeah,
you
I
want
always
to.
do.
But yeah, for sure, man. That's where the flavor is, man. Okay, let's see her. Abuelita, go ahead, Ricky. You got it.
Oh yeah. Well, first we gotta do Steve. I just took Steve out quickly because we were reading the bottom. Mary Keller talked to me.
Okay, good to know.
Right on, right on. We should have a Sancocho cookout at one of the reunions, either the Panama or the Orlando.
We
for
should.
sure.
We gotta maybe look at planning something if we can for this Orlando reunion, Ricky. In June.
Do like for sure. So Abuelita used to say, "Everyone welcome. We can always add more." Yes.
That's
yes.
true.
Same in my mom's house. My mom we always had Sancocho at our house.
Ricky, a thigh man. Yeah, there you go. So now let's switch gears a little bit. We're still gonna stay on some food, and this is probably my favorite of the Panamanian food, just as far as just taste and everything goes, is the carimañola.
Oh
man, I love a carimañola. The flavors there, just the flavor of the yuca, the flavor of the meats and everything. It's top notch.
You know why I would eat it? Because they gave us a good drinking base. You eat 2 of those, you can drink all night because that thing would suck all your alcohol from you.
Yep. So they take boiled ground yuca is your base. And then you've got your filling there. You fill it in and completely fill it and enclose it in that. And then you throw that into the oil. Fry it up.
That's yuca.
Mhm.
So what do you do? Just scrape the yuca and then
You grind it up.
And then
you probably boil it and then you probably mash it like you would mashed potatoes.
Grind it up.
Oh, okay. Boil and then mash. Gotcha.
Yeah, you got to soften it up first and then you can mash it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So, but again, the star ingredient is the yuca, the tuber characteristics, staple tuber. We all know about the yuca. Again, cook it, man. You got to make sure you cook the yuca. You will get sick otherwise, right? Beyond fritters, it's ground into flour and used in soups and stew. I imagine it's probably a good thickening agent, And then, of course, the yuca sticks, which to me, yuca fries. Those are like steak fries.
Absolutely,
yeah. That's some good eating there, man. Good old yuca there. Now, you had yourself some sancocho, right? You started it off, and then you had yourself a couple of carimañolas, maybe some empanadas and everything, but you got to wash it down. Now, this to me is the best Panamanian drink ever, bar none, we'll go with we should have drum roll. There we go. Yes.
I was only here reading the comments.
Right? But no, it is the chicheme, the heart of the Panamanian refreshment.
Boy, that's a hit and miss with me. That was
Really?
Some days it would be delicious. Other days I just couldn't. I couldn't
do
do
that
it.
shit every day,
Me
man.
too. Me too.
Wow.
Hit and miss.
I
Depending
love
on the time of the day and etc.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. To me, it's I love anything sweet anyway. I got a bad sweet tooth, so.
But
that one's
yeah,
easy
looking
for me
at the
to dig.
ingredients, maybe want to reconsider my idea because they're using cinnamon and look at all the good stuff they use on all the spices. I mean, this is actually a pretty healthy drink.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that they point out there, especially for us here in the States, is you cannot use cornmeal because it'll turn into a porridge. It'll turn into a thick, like a pudding or something, a porridge, because it can be grainy, right? You got to use the actual corn itself, right? Otherwise, you're not. It's going to be a big clumpy mass, is what it's going to end up being. But yeah, let me tell you what, man. During baseball season, dry season, God darn, man, a chicheme, when that guy came by with the carretilla, that was a good drink there for sure. Yeah, I love me a good chicheme, man. And what
It's similar to that Asian drink that has all the little balls at the bottom.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the bobo.
Bobos, yes.
Yes. Now, here's something cool. It's showing here on the screen some legendary locations and traditions with chicheme. Okay, La Chorrera is the epicenter apparently, and chicheme is a chorrera
It's
associated with.
Yeah, it's the Chorrera Chicheme is probably the most famous one.
Okay. So so the relationship is there. So in La Chorrera, reputed as a drinks home, especially at the famous Chichemito or Las Abejas.
Right on.
Never heard of those
Chorrera's
places, but-
got two spots to stop by. You got Queso Chela,
Yeah.
world
That's-
famous.
That's Capira.
And now Chichemito.
Oh, there you go. That's Capira. But
Yeah.
but either way, in just a couple of years, you'll be able to get there in no time at all on the metro. Go under the canal and
Oh,
everything.
you're
and
going
in
to take
just a
the
few minutes,
metro.
you'll be there.
Yes.
You know, a couple of regional variations. Pedací version uses whole unminced corn. Interesting. While Capira, there you go, Ricky, your hometown. Capira is famous for queso chelas recipe. There you go.
Oh, so
There
it's
it
not Chorrera's, Capira.
Yep, it's Capira.
Well,
Famous-
everybody knows where it is. You're
Yes,
not
of
going to.
course they
Everybody,
do.
we all know what queso chela is. Yeah.
Most famously served with ice cold, though it can be eaten warm like porridge. Yeah, I'm not sure about the warm like porridge bit, man, but the ice cold for sure. For sure. About the only time you'll see me put ice in milk would be if it's a chicheme, just because you got there's something about the cold that really that's the flavor there. But all right, somebody threw a comment earlier just a moment ago asking about
The reunion.
when and where the reunion.
Important.
Okay, yeah. So we talk about two different reunions here. The Pan Canal Society reunion is held in Orlando every year. This year, it's going to be the second week in July. I believe it starts either the 11th or the 14th, something like that. Again, pancanalsociety.org. You can get all the information for it. Make sure you register. You have to be registered with the society, not to show up because it's a hotel. Anybody can go and stay at the hotel, but just as Ricky's pointed out before, you know, it's a great hotel, a beautiful location. If you go and stay there for 4 nights and you have lunch and dinner there at least twice, your entire membership for the society is paid for the year with the discount you get by being a society member.
That is correct.
Okay, because it is a substantial discount, and this is a kind of a pricey hotel. So just that alone will pay for the membership there. You get that Canal record every few months, and just it's a great way to stay connected with your Zonian friends. But make your plans for that reunion, and then in Panama, it's becoming now an annual thing. So you got it, you know, beginning of the year, end of the year thing in Panama at the end of January. I think this year this upcoming one is slated for the 20th of January, if I'm not mistaken. But they have the Canal Zone reunion. They just completed the last one there, so you're not going to hear anything anytime soon. And we tend to give a lot more love at this time of the year to the Pan Canal Society reunion because it comes up in July. Once that one ends, we'll switch gears then and start, you know, pushing and promoting the Canal Zone reunion. But they're both great reunions to go to. The one big difference, Canal Zone reunion in Orlando is a get-together reunion. It's a place to see a lot of Zonians. The numbers there definitely are bigger than the Panama one for obvious reasons. But it's a place where you're really going to go and hang out and just relax and just have an enjoyable time. The Canal Zone reunion in Panama is a very much an experiential reunion. You're going to go on a lot of different outdoor trips. You don't stay at the hotel a lot like you do in Orlando. You take trips on a Panama Railroad. You take trips through the canal. There's golf outings. There's just a lot of different things that are outside of that hotel. So that is probably the biggest difference is the things that you're going to see there versus in Orlando, you're going to visit people and reconnect with people. So both of them are fantastic reunions. They're both a lot of
Lots
hard
of
work is put
activities.
into them.
Yep.
And yes, they're both fantastic. They're a great time. If, you know, I have the good fortune of living in Florida, so I can always attend this one here, even if it's just for a day or two. You know, Panama is a little bit different, but either way, you know, try and make them both if you can. It's a great to keep that Canal Zone legacy going.
Yeah, I got a little dictionary for you guys here. Speaking
All right,
of
let's hear
Canal Zone reunion
Okay.
and all that, you guys know what a sopa borracha is? I mean, Mr. Arias, I know you know it, but hold on one second. Anybody out there know what a sopa borracha? This is an incredible find on our Canal Zone dictionary.
Okay, guys, sopa borracha. What do you think that is? Ricky's throwing it out there. See what you have in mind. I know you've heard of it, and it's probably different versions of it in different places, but obviously the literal translation is drunk soup. But what really is a sopa borracha? See if anybody can throw something
Anybody out there? While you guys are thinking about it, we got to say hello here to Mr. Ray Simon Jr., Atlantic Side, Fort Gullick, Brad, representing. Right on, man. Welcome to the show. Hope you come back and see us some more. And
I love the patch on your name there too, man. The Cristobal High School. There you go. Right on.
Right out.
Good
The
stuff,
Gold
man.
Coast. The Gold
Yeah,
Coast.
heck yeah.
You know what? A lot of great athletes out of that Gold Coast. All right, here we go. Sopa borracha, guys. This is actually a dessert dish.
There you go.
I don't know how the heck I missed this. Listen to what this is made out of, guys. It's a rich sponge cake right? Soaked in rum and whiskey, right?
Ah.
Then it's garnished with these silver candies, you know, these little
Yes.
sprinkle things, yeah.
Mhm.
But listen to this one. It's also sprinkled with raisins and prunes that have been marinated in sherry. So how did we miss this dessert growing up there? This sounds like
Very
almost
Panamanian.
like I need to franchise this
I
dessert.
think, Ricky, I think I remember at some quince años maybe.
Quince años?
Because I think it's
At
I
the
think it's-
weddings. I
yes.
remember at the weddings.
There you go. That's what
rum and whiskey
Right.
marinated in sherry. That sounds like a Zonian dessert for sure. If there's ever
Yeah.
one.
But I do remember that. I do remember the sopa borracha because it was, especially when you mentioned the whole silver lining, because it did have, those edible decorations on it and everything. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, man. Right on. I mean, truce. I think that thing would be a killer up here, man. If we can get away with selling, alcohol and in our donuts, man, that would be great.
Yeah, there's a place for you here somewhere. But now that I'm hungry and I'm starving and everything, I need to kind of switch gears a little because we still got a show to do here. So let's switch gears now. We're going to continue the nostalgia, the Panama history and information here, but we're going to go to where we really enjoyed this really special event in Panama that happened every year at this time of the year, and that was carnivals. That was just a fantastic time in Panama. So let's figure out what the whole carnival story was all about, different histories and whatnot on it. And Rodolfo, again, coincidentally joined us here. He's got a big history of the Canal Zone with Carnival, right in the heart of one of the, I guess you could call it the centerpieces of carnivals, right?
Oh yeah, the OG of centerpieces.
Yeah.
See, that is where it started.
But
John Catanzaro went there a couple of times.
Yep, in Las Tablas.
Las Tablas, indeed. You had a great location. And we were talking earlier before the show about, you were right in the, you're literally there. Talk about ground zero.
Yeah.
You are ground zero.
That's where I was at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into Las Tablas here in just a moment, but let's talk a little bit about the history before we go into Las Tablas specifically. So according to the information here, and again, guys, I'm just basing this on what I've able to throw into that notebook LM, but 16th century Spanish origins began as a pre-Lenten celebration. That makes sense, right? Because we know that the whole carnival was, let your hair down, cut loose before you have to become pious and rigid for the upcoming Lent, celebration.
40 days, yeah.
Yeah, right. Cultural melting pot. And that's true. That's something you definitely see in the carnivals, the different traditions that mix. There's some very elaborate costumes. There's some, those diablicos. There's just a lot of different things that are thrown out there that
Mojadera.
And it makes sense that it would be that cultural melting pot if we're talking about Panama, because we know that Panama has always been, because of being that crossroads. You do have so many cultures that have crossroads in Panama, right?
Correct.
Even in the American era, I've seen earlier on, before my time, there was even a Canal Zone carnival queen that was, part of the gig and stuff. So, the zone even involved themselves in the carnival celebrations much more formally than towards the end there. But nonetheless, this is that time of the year where the country really does shut down. There is no work going on. It is a, Rodolfo, you can attest to it.
1 week, right? 1 week of celebrations.
What's carnival like in Panama now? What's the whole atmosphere, the build up to it? What's
well, the Las Tablas and Penonomé and now Oku and Chitre are all the same thing.
Right. That's what everybody heads out to.
Yeah, I spent my carnival at the beach.
Getting the hell away from there.
Yeah. I went to carnivals for you two, all of you and me, and maybe about
you lived it for all of us.
Yeah.
I lived it for everybody.
That's great. Well, a couple interesting pieces here, and then we're going to go talk about the polleras and all that stuff, and then we're going to get into some of that Las Tablas action and some other Penonomé and a couple other cool stuff here. But a couple interesting things here. The Carnival Queen, in a lot of your towns and in your region, your cities, they have a Carnival Queen, and that's a big deal.
Yeah,
I was in St. Mary's, and in my class, Grace Hoskins, who's now Grace Fessick, she's from my class of '86. She was a Las Tablas queen back in the day. So it's a really big deal. That's one that we want to maybe talk about outside of this whole carnival conversation with you one day, Rodolfo, because this is something that goes, they start, it's almost a year-long thing for the Queens, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's fundraisers, there's events.
It practically begins
like next year's carnival. They're getting ready to start now already.
They've already started.
Wow.
They've already started doing all the preparations, and they kick it off on the Saturday right after Good Friday in Easter.
Okay.
With a matanza, with a big party where they start raising money.
Sure.
It's not cheap to be the queen, and it's a year-long process.
Yeah,
now,
it's amazing.
I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but what is the deal with Calle Arriba and Calle Abajo?
Okay, that is a rivalry that began in Las Tablas. Other places have adopted it, but it began through religious dealings. Part of the town was rooting or backing or saying that they wanted X saint to be the patron saint of Las Tablas. Okay. The other side wanted another one, and they would come out during Easter, and everybody would be, like this was in the 19th century, and the priest of the town said, you guys have to, and they switched it to carnival, and basically one place was Calle Arriba, the other one was Calle Abajo.
So it was a war for a patron saint.
For the patron saint. And then they chose a patron saint, which the patron saint of Las Tablas is called Santa Librada, and it still is. And for carnival, it's Calle Arriba and Calle Abajo. But that in Las Tablas that's a year-round thing.
Right.
Like in schools and sports and
like
politics.
you just said,
everything. It's if you have somebody bidding for a construction job, you want to do remodeling in your house, and you're from Calle Abajo, and you got a Calle Arriba guy bidding and a Calle Abajo guy bidding, the Calle Abajo guy's going to get it.
I see. Right on. Okay. Yeah. Traditions, everybody.
So it's
Traditions.
a town rivalry that just manifests itself in the carnival.
Reform.
It never stops.
Yes. That's great. That's interesting. And then of course, a couple different things they talk about there, las tunas, okay, or tonadas, and these are those big band tunes, right, with the trumpets and the trombones and the drums and everything.
The murga, they call it. Yeah.
Yep. And there's actual songs. If you go onto YouTube, you look these up. You put in there Las Tablas Tunas, and you can see there's companies that'll put it out there, the actual songs with the lyrics, and it is, if you're part of that street, the tune, and you go out there and sing. Now, let me ask you this: do they meet in the middle somewhere, or do they all each do their own thing?
No, they each do their own thing. That when they have met, it hasn't been pretty.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right. Oh, this is all good to know.
Look at what John put.
Let's see.
Look at what John wrote.
Yeah, right on. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And like you said, it plays over into business as well, right? If you need me to do that job, but you're Calle Abajo and I'm Calle Arriba, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to charge you a little more.
Wow, I didn't know that. But that's good. Good to know.
It happens that way. Yeah.
So now you guys know if you want to be an expat and you want to move to Panama, you find out who that home builder is. Are they Calle Arriba, Calle Abajo? And you better put the right hat on. Otherwise, you're going to get ripped off, man.
It's like the Crips, right? The red and the blue, right? You have to watch out what you're wearing. That's good to know, man. That's awesome.
Do they have, speaking of that, like Ricky just said, do they have colors? Are they traditional colors for Arriba versus Abajo?
No.
Okay.
No, they don't have colors.
Right on.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
For example, when you have the procession on Good Friday,
Right.
You have the figure that Calle Abajo, that my family decorates, which is the Calle Abajo saint, and you have one from Calle Arriba, which is a Calle Arriba saint. So
Okay.
even for religion, it's part of that.
Okay. And so you guys are calle abajo. Let me ask you this. Is there ever an instance where somebody is calle abajo and living in Las Tablas, for example, and they move to a calle arriba area? Do they have to switch teams or?
No,
You know,
no.
because that might be a
You
little
were
tough
born,
for living in that neighborhood.
you were born that way. And
You're
gonna
arriba
die
or you're
that way.
abajo. That's it.
Right,
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
you go. Okay, it's good to know. I never
That's
knew
cool.
this. You know, being a Panamanian, I
Interesting.
never knew that. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so tell me how that I kind of know more or less the days of the carnival. It starts Friday technically, right? Or does it start Thursday?
It starts Friday. Well,
Thursday's like a pregame.
the official day is Friday, but you got people in the park practicing the tunes since maybe Wednesday.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it's normally as it is in the rest of the world, Brazil, New Orleans, and Trinidad and Tobago, they also celebrate it at the same time, which
Sure.
is the 4 days before
For Lent.
Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
And
In other
marks
words,
the
get your
beginning of Lent.
debauchery out of the way before you have to become
Exactly.
serious with the
Yeah,
Lord.
because you always got to give something up for Lent.
Yeah,
If you're
correct.
Catholic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, the one that I think a lot of people can relate to, only because, especially as a young kid, this was always a lot of fun, is the culecos. Okay, and the culecos are, like most things, it seems like it got it started in Las Tablas, but that seems to be a general carnival event across the range.
Everywhere they celebrate Carnival, there are culecos.
And culecos basically is the water wars, and basically
Yeah.
water.
Oh, that's what Culecos are.
Yeah. Yes, and that's great though. Let me tell you what. In February, with the dry season in Panama at 12 noon, you got 500 people in a crowd somewhere. Feels pretty damn good to get that water hose thrown on you, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, I remember as a kid, our family, we would go to Agua Dulce. We had family there that had property there and whatnot. And my brother poured a bucket of water on some lady, and they were going to arrest him. And everyone came out like, "What are you talking about? It's mojadera, it's culecos, you know." And I think they backed up. I think it was because he was speaking English and maybe thought he was a gringo or something. But I'll never forget that, because at one point they were really ready to take him away. And people, what's the matter with you people, man? It's Saturday. You really expect somebody to be walking around in dry clothing on culecos in Panama? It's not going to happen, man. But it was all about the water, and you see that in Panama City a lot more. That was one of the things that Mayor Myron talked about was last year they had, I think, like 3 of those cisterns to pour water out there. And this year they had 9 because they had so many more people there. And yeah, that's a really big deal is the culecos on Saturday, the water. Now, what is Sunday? Is Sunday more the religious day, or does that not count because it's carnival?
No, it doesn't count.
That's part of the gig, man. You're here to party, not to be religious. That's the one day God will be like, "Okay, it's okay. You didn't make it today. Tranquilo, papa. You're good. You know,
Yeah.
Get it out of your system. But then for the next 40 days, don't fuck up." That's the way that works.
Exactly.
Okay. So is there something on Sunday that's traditional in Las Tablas that you tend to see?
As I understand, they come out in their cars wearing the dress and their crown, the one that they were crowned in on Friday.
So this is the big coming out one, in essence, the formal one.
Basically.
Okay. Right on.
Then Monday is supposed to be the day of the costumes. People used to dress up. They don't do it anymore, but they used to get a costume and put it on. And then Tuesday is the pollera.
Oh, okay. Tuesday, the pollera. So let's segue into that. It's a great time to segue into the pollera then. So, the pollera is something, that we all know the pollera. We've seen them. Heck, we see them at the reunions, the dances and the displays and everything. And we see a lot of people that ended up getting themselves a pollera that come up here to the States and they still like to wear them at the reunion, which is kind of cool to see. But a couple of really, really important or iconic things about the pollera to understand or to learn about here. The styles. It looks like there's three big styles of pollera in Panama. The one that we all are very familiar with, the one at the top there on the left, is a pollera de gala, the formal one. And that's the big ornate one there. Now, okay, Rodolfo just dropped off real quick. He'll be jumping back in here just a moment. I think it's his video feed that cuts out. I think he's still audio with us, but
no, I just got up to do something here in my room.
Gotcha. So now, what were you telling me about the pollera dress? That's important about it. That as far as the making
of what I told you, I looked it up again, and it's not as elaborate as I had said, but it is very elaborate.
Okay.
The confection of one of those polleras could take up to 5 years.
Wow.
Depending on the complexity. Yeah.
That's incredible. The most expensive style, 326,500 plus. I'm not sure what that number is referring to, but maybe the stitches in it or something. Featuring fine white linen, handmade lace, and gala de labor needlework. So that's probably what you're talking about. That's
the design, the color design on each pollera is hand sewn.
Wow.
And yeah.
That's incredible. So that's the pollera de gala. That's the formal one, the one that we've all come to see. If you ever see a poster of Panama and a lot of traditional posters when they show pollera, that's more than likely that's what you're going to see is that pollera de gala, or the formal one. But the other one that's also very common is the pollera montuna, right? And so that one is a country version, as it says here, representing mountain life, pairing a white blouse with a colorful floral zaraza, or a skirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it doesn't have all the jewelry and the hair ornaments because they wear a hat.
Yep, exactly. Yes. There you go. Feria Artesanía in Atlapa. Every year you can see how complex they are. Go for 10,000. Wow, that's amazing. I can imagine.
That's true.
I can imagine. So check it out. If you guys are in Panama and you want to check one of those out, the Feria Artesanía in Atlapa, you'll be able to see what that's all about and how they go about making everything. Kike Rodolfo on his staff, SCM. Yes, indeed. Great call. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
We have to
cultural liaison, perfect too.
Heck yeah, no, indeed. I mean, you guys are a fountain of knowledge. And then, as we talked about with Panama being that crossroads, and a lot of different cultures and stuff going through. There's the Pollera Congo, the heritage one, which is more of that Afro-Panamanian or Afro-Antillean, as we like to say as well, and more along on the Atlantic side, your Cologne communities and things of that nature. And it almost looks like that one is a hybrid of the two other ones, right? It's got a little bit more of the formal shape to it, but still a little bit more, almost like a quilt work.
Yeah, it's colorful. I don't know much about that one.
Okay,
Bocas, I imagine, would have that one as well.
Yep, we're gonna have to get our Atlantic side correspondent Vern Couturier to get on that one, do a little bit of investigating on that. Him and maybe HB can help out with that as well. HB's quite the Canal Zone historian. But interesting things about the dress itself, the pollera dress. Now, going back to that formal one, right? Because the formal one, there is more to it than just the dress. There's obviously the headgear, the jewelry, and everything involved there. And so there's actually a meaning and a purpose behind it. It's not just throwing up some gold and some bling, as you would say it, right? There's a traditional ensemble, and it's called the 7-chain tradition. Okay, the tradition ensemble must include between 3 and 7 gold chains, often passed down through generations. So again, part of the traditional dress. And I imagine some of these polleras, as you guys have mentioned, they're so expensive, and let's not kid ourselves. It's not like Panama has a bunch of wealthy people in the interior, but you have a lot of these dresses. So you can imagine these things were probably made and bought many, many years ago, and they've just been preserved, taken care of, and they're handed down to the next daughter, et cetera, including a lot of that jewelry. So, and you do see that a lot with those formal, those gala polleras. They do have a ton of bling on them. And so some interesting things that they mention on here, the tapahueso, which I imagine is to cover the gold cross worn at the throat to cover the dimple, reflecting European aristocratic roots. So that would probably be more of your Spanish traditions there. They would have that formal kind of cross there. And then, of course, the headgear. That's the other one that's really, really famous. And you probably remember that term. You may have heard it. Tembleques, right? Intricate beaded headpiece made of crystals or fish scales. I do remember hearing that they made them with fish scales. That was really part of that rustic yet royalty type, because it's, there's a lot of work involved.
It has to move.
Yes,
Can't
yes.
be, yeah.
And fish scales that tremble with the wearer's movement. Yes, as you could say there. Couple of different chains there. The cadena chata is the base of the tradition, essentially flat links symbolizing strength. Okay, so there's some symbolism behind these. You have then the cadena salomónica, spiral weave representing the wisdom of King Solomon. Okay, right on. I like that. And then cadena bruja. Yeah, you got to have some little on the other end of things there. Z-shaped witch chain used historically as a protective amulet. A lot of symbolism in all of these things, of course. And if you're looking at the carnival era, and the carnival again was that time to get all this stuff out of your system before you go into your Lent period and your little more whatnot there. So interesting piece there. Another real quick thing about the polleras, and some of you Zonian ladies may have done this because this was popular footwear with a lot of the Zonians. Apparently, was those suede slippers that the polleras wore, and apparently the dye that was in them, when you got them wet, it would leave your feet all black. I don't remember that. Obviously, I didn't wear that. I'd have to check. Maybe my sister, I don't know if she did or whatnot. But if anybody remembers that, I don't know if that's something that they experienced or if they like to wear those. But I do kind of remember some people, especially in St. Mary's, you'd see them a lot. Those shoes became a little bit popular there. They're crudely made versus luxury. So while Zonian girls wore black suede traditional gala shoes, are heelless velvet, satin, or silk. Okay, I'm not sure what they're talking about there. And then, of course, our bias of beer thing is covering up some other interesting things. But, yeah, just some more symbolic stuff about the pollera. It really was a really, it's considered, and I know, and Ricky, you could probably attest to this. Your sister certainly can attest to this. In the Miss Universe pageants and stuff, typically when they talk about the traditional, outfits of the different, contestants,
Yeah.
that one is always,
it's always in the top. It's always,
It's featured up there as one of the most complete.
Yes.
Traditional outfits.
Typical outfits.
Yep.
Yeah.
And beautiful, because it really is a beautiful look to it. It's got a really, really unique look to it. So, but yeah, that's the pollera. That's, if you're talking about a dress in Panama, it's the pollera. So we talked about Las Tablas a little bit. We talked about all the important things that go on there. And that's probably the most well-known of the carnivals. But another one that is very well known that takes place not on the streets, but in the water, is the Penonomé carnival. Okay.
Yes.
And that's
I never experienced it. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't either. Rodolfo and I were talking about, going to Penonomé where the Fabregas live. They had a house on the river. Right up on the river. Great place. We'd go there to go hunting, but it was never during carnivals. So I don't know anything about it other than what I've read and seen here. Maybe Rodolfo, you can shed some light on this one.
I honestly never been to the aquatic carnival. I went to Penonomé one year, but I was in the park. It basically the same as in Las Tablas.
Right.
But I never went to where they had the floats. No.
Yeah. So apparently the river that goes through there is the Sarati River. And so they have the parade of rafts that go through, and they're, again, very elaborate. The whole thing takes place based on the river. The river was the way of getting around in the interior in Panama, because you've even seen old pictures, from like Panama Vieja Escuela and things like that once you left the zone, Panama, up until probably the 1940s or 50s, Panama was very rural. Just across the country, it was very, very rural. So,
yeah.
A lot of these areas here, the river was their transportation, was their highway, was their means of making money. And so they celebrated it and they honored it with their carnival on there. But there's some cool stuff they mentioned on here. The dance of the Toro Guapo. I remember in Agua Dulce, they had something called a Vaca Loca. And these guys, they put this thing on it. They kind of wear it over their shoulders. The long wooden
thing. I know that as a sickness, man.
No, this one was it was you kind of wore it was long and wooden, and they put a skull of a cow on the front of it with horns, and it
Yeah,
would chase
yeah.
you around, and you just run like hell when you were a little kid, man, because
I
this
see.
thing scared the
I've
hell out of
seen
you.
that. I've seen that in Parita, El Toro Loco.
Yes, they have it in
Yeah.
Agua Dulce. They would have that one, but they got the comparsas and the aquarios. Sunday again, like you said, is Day of the Pollera, which seems to be across the board. The
No,
Sunday is
but no, they have the Day of the Pollera on Sunday, but and Los Tablas is on Tuesday.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Yep. So the Saturday was the river parade, a peasant trade for pageantry. Yeah, because again, that was their way that they got around. El Banario de Mendoza's. I'm not sure what that is, but this would be something interesting to look up. You know, it's not as well known as Las Tablas, but it is still one of the.
The Balneario de Mendoza is a river right underneath Fabrica's house.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You know what I remember about that place when we'd go down by the river there. They used to have the plecostomus, the suckerfish that you had to on your aquariums.
Yeah.
And dude, they were like 3 and 4 feet long, man. These things were humongous, man. I mean, you see them in a fish tank, you're like, wow, that's pretty big. And go to that river and look at them, man. They're massive, massive fish. And it's my understanding those were introduced to Panama. They weren't native to Panama. And they just
you got that one. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out about it. But anyhow, that's the Penonome Carnival. A little bit certainly different than the one in Las Tablas. The last piece we're going to cover about carnivals here is, and this one is a little bit more the unknown here. Some of this we were going over it before the show, and we think it may or may not apply to Panama itself. But there is the final farewell. Again, the whole basis for the carnival is this is your chance to get it out of your system before it's time to be, again, more pious, more religious, and become closer to God in some way, shape, or form, because Easter's coming up, right? And so this is those 40 days of fasting, I guess, and whatnot. But what we're talking about here then is at the end of the carnival here is the fish. What's the whole fish thing going on here? And what have we heard about that or know or don't know about that?
I don't know.
Might as well be Penonome.
that wouldn't that it's not Las Tablas.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Oku does that because as a kid, I my parents took us to Oku. And I remember that ritual, that burying the tuna was a big thing. But it's like really late at night. It's not like but what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be on Ash Wednesday in the morning in the
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like really super late at night.
Dusk.
And then people are supposed to be crying behind it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what they say in some Panama cities are crying queens. La Lloradera, I guess. What do you want to call it? Las Tablas features the topong. Now, tell us about that, the topong. Because I've seen some videos of just massive, massive fireworks.
Yeah. It is. John was there several times with me. It's where the two sides meet in the park, each on one side of the park, and they start burning fireworks. And we burned down an electric cable one time. That was not good for the building next to the church.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they weren't very happy with us, but that's what it is.
It's carnival.
And it's carnival, so.
Yeah, John's throwing you and say you stay up and party all night Tuesday.
Like fire. The streets catch fire with all the paper, and it's it's very how do I say that? You got a lot of adrenaline on there.
I can imagine.
You gotta watch out because the guy that's next to you doesn't know what he's doing, and he's swinging the fireworks all over the place.
Yeah.
And I got burned one time, and well, that's how it is, man. It's part of the
carnival experience. That's it.
Yeah, part of the game.
Yeah. So that then marks the end of carnival, and again, like we've seen, then Ash Wednesday, which just occurred just a couple of days ago. That's the official transition now, and like you mentioned here, in Las Tablas, especially the calle arriba, calle abajo, you have about a 40-day pause. And maybe that's time to maybe count their money and start planning and regrouping, because then right after Easter, start prepping for next carnival.
It starts again. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I guess if you live there, it's probably fun. Yeah, it's probably part of the lifestyle, the fabric of those communities is to do all
And
that
this is
stuff.
all funded by private money. The government has nothing to do with this
Correct.
funding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, and that's part of what this whole year-long process is to do fundraising.
It's to raise money for the 4 days.
Yep. So, Las Tablas is by far the most recognizable carnivals in Panama, bar none. Panama City is not quite the same, and in fact, Panama City has really lost a lot of its, for lack of a better term, carnival fun until recently. Right. And recently things have started to change. Ricky and I talk about the mayor in Panama and all the things that he does to really, uplift the city and just change the whole look and feel and vibe of the city. We've seen what he's done with the Christmas parade, and the amazing things he's done about that. And I just happened to catch on YouTube today, and I don't know if it was done today or yesterday because obviously it had to be recent, but he sat down with somebody and they interviewed him all about the carnivals in Panama City, what's going on, what the future plans are. And so we got some cool information out of this. To me, I just found fascinating things that he was talking about. They had over 330,000 people in Panama City for the carnivals, which, and Rodolfo can attest to this. Obviously, it's not going to touch what Las Tablas does. That is, like Ricky says, the OG of carnivals. But
that's the thing. It's two different things.
Correct. It's comparing the World Series to the Super Bowl.
If you don't have Calle Arriba and Calle Abajo, you don't have a rivalry. It's not the same thing.
Correct.
You're gonna have they don't even have the parades anymore. They just have the dances. That's all they had.
Wow.
But a lot of people attended. A lot of foreigners that were here in Panama attended those things, and they really did like it. And there was a lot of order.
Yeah.
And that's very important because you're safe to go there. And you're not going to get mugged, or you're not going to get
or big fights. There was none of that. Yeah, I noticed that.
And that's what he talked about. He said that one of the things he said, and he was very respectful in that he wasn't going to badmouth anybody or do any comparisons. But the one thing he did say was that any of the big fights and brawls that you may have seen on videos, none of them were in Panama City. They were in the interior. That Panama City really just did a stand-up job.
I can vouch for that. He maintained order.
Yeah.
As it should be. And if you want to bring tourism here, you got to make it safe for them.
Exactly. And that's what he's talking about doing. Exactly that.
That's
He's got some really grandiose plans, but as we've seen, his actions speak louder than his words do, because this guy does back up what he says he's going to do a lot of times. You've seen what he did recently with the beaches out there, right outside the city there.
Yeah.
And one of the things he's talking about, you see the two images there of Calle 50 and Central, which is, goes all the way out to Casco Viejo in that area there. If anybody has seen pictures or videos of the recent Christmas parades, one of the things that stood out was the amount of wires and cables going across the streets. You really couldn't even see a good image of the parade itself because it was just like that image shows on there. That's the way the streets are. And what he wants to do is turn it into, and he actually used the term Fifth Avenue. He goes, we want to make it like Fifth Avenue. He even referenced, and he used the Spanglish really well. He referenced the Thanksgiving parade in New York, and he goes, this is what we need to have here, is have these wide open, clean streets, big sidewalks. All the cabling is going to go underground in order to make this, that type of iconic parade. And to his point, they want to invest in this to make this something that brings in the international crowds, bring in more of the international artists and bands and singers and whatnot that are going to draw those crowds in. And he goes, we're not going to compete with the interior. The interior is where Panamanians go for their culture.
It's like a more traditional.
Yes.
This is more like Rio de Janeiro, where they have the grandstands and
That's
then
exactly right.
And the people come down the middle.
100%. And that's what he's looking at doing this, but he's looking at technology, reserve your ticket ahead of time, use a QR code, scan it and get through, because the lines were very long for obvious reasons. And so, he wants to elevate the presence of Panama City as a go-to destination for carnivals, not just Rio and Trinidad and New Orleans, that Panama is one of those places as well, while still preserving the traditions in the interior, in Las Tablas and Oku and Penonomé and everything else. And so I think it's fantastic. We talk about this guy a lot, and I sat through and watched that interview today, and this guy, he impressed me, man. He really is a go-getter.
He's the future. He is a
Panama City.
You know what? And they tried to. There was a couple of people there that were trying to act like that he had an opportunity or a possibility of being what's the word when he loses his election.
Oh, impeached, recalled.
Oh, recall. They try to recall him. They got something like 17 votes, and they needed 300,000 votes to recall him.
No, he's really well liked. I mean, the guy, like I said, he backs up what he says he's going to do, and he really wants to lift the image of the city and make it a place to be proud of. He's doing a good
job, yeah.
And Ricky's mentioned this in the past, that he has oftentimes referenced the old Canal Zone. He says, why can't we have this looking like that, where everything mattered, the grass being cut, the garbage being picked up, the streets being maintained? Why can't that matter here like it did there?
Correct. Now, Rodolfo, have you noticed Panama City a lot cleaner, a lot more organized? What's the deal that you're there?
I'm there. I mainly notice traffic, and it's the same.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah. If I have to go, for example, to Tribunal Electoral, where the cédulas are, and I have a meeting at 8, I got to leave my house at 6:30, 6:45. Because I don't know how long it's going to take me.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
And that would normally be like a 30-minute drive, right? 25-minute drive from.
It may be a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
Without any traffic.
So all the cleaning up, he's doing all that. It's hard to see because of the traffic. Understood.
Yeah, and I do understand he's been doing a lot of stuff with the homeless also.
Yes. That's a big project that he's a lot.
Yeah, and that is something that's really needed, because there's a lot of old people that have nobody to take care of them, and I've seen.
Now, what happened with the beaches? Because I know, like a few weeks ago, they were out there in some of the. Is on the other side of Paitilla? Where's that at?
No, they got a small beach that's in Casco Viejo.
Okay.
A lot of stand-up paddle people used to depart from there, but you can't go in the water. That water's contaminated.
That's what I'm saying.
Can go in and sit on the beach, and that's about it. All you can do, and that's what they were criticizing.
Right. Speaking of beaches, another thing interesting that I just saw in the news a few days ago, that there's red flag warnings in Panama for sea snakes.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen
a couple of beaches. They're closing them down, or they're lifting the flag.
Sea snakes, crocodiles.
After
sea snakes.
After the crocodiles I've seen in the ocean.
No, if you go into Panama News and type in sea snakes, they're yellow and black ones. They're very, very poisonous, and they're saying do not go into water right now. They're getting a lot of them right now.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
Interesting. It's the cold water that's coming in right now. So.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that totally makes sense. But
like I say, after the size of the crocodiles I've seen on the beaches, in the ocean,
right?
I just simply don't go in. Period.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, and we've talked about that here. We talked about that recently with Frank Dupree, because he lives out in on Toboga, and he mentioned that the crocodiles are. I mean, they're monsters out there now. They're everywhere, and we've speculated a little bit about that. With the when the Canal Zone Police ended, the Canal Zone Police had the division that took care of the water, and keeping all that stuff clean, and nobody picked up the slack there, I guess. So it's kind of interesting. What are they saying in Panama about that? Is that something that's a recognized problem that they want to work on, or is it just
that people are saying that it is a recognized problem, but they've outlawed the hunting. Look at the picture I just sent you. This is not from the ocean.
Pull it up here.
And this is Santa Maria River. That's the border between Coclé and Herrera.
Yeah, let me pull that up on the screen here. Bear with me.
Yeah, but they've gone to extremes, and it's endangering the population, the people, right now. People say that the environmentalists say that these crocodiles won't do anything to you.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
Until they do.
Yeah,
Okay?
Right.
Who's gonna go first? Willie, you go first.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll pass. Thanks, but no thanks.
You're getting that in you're getting those size alligators in Toboga. They're not close to the shore.
All right, there it is.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything.
Look at that, dude. You don't stand a chance of that,
right,
thing, man. Forget about it.
That picture's a couple of that picture's a couple years old, but it's my father-in-law
only worse.
Collides with that river.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big deal, man.
That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. That's incredible. But well, that's part of the gig, man. I mean, that's part of the tropics.
Yeah, if they don't address it like they did in the Canal Zone days, this is what we're going to be getting.
That's what happened. The Canal Zone used to control them.
Yep.
Correct.
Now
Correct.
it's out of control. Now it's out of control.
Well, then somebody mentioned last week also that COVID didn't help either, because there's nobody out in the streets, and so it was a lot of the wild animals and stuff kind of did their own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to be aggressive. I cannot buy that. They're not aggressive.
No.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
No,
exactly.
Absolutely. Crocs are very aggressive for sure. So, but that's the world that we live in. It's it is what it is. Anyhow, listen. Thank you again for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. I'm not sure why that screen is looking like that. I don't know how the hell to take that off.
Let's go to our exit.
Yeah, let me. Yeah, but then I don't want to keep them on and just throw them off like that. That's kind of a rude way of doing things. There we go. All right. So anyhow, Rodolfo, thank you again for taking the time to do this. It's been a lot of fun. We initially had envisioned you talking about the different services that are available for folks that have that grew up down there that they're up here now and want to get that stuff taken care of. But man,
I want to tell them also. If you need to buy property here. If you need, I can do all that for you. I can assist you there, and give you the best options. Even what you have to do in order to avoid probate after somebody passes away. It's already, you have a foundation, which is basically like a living will, and that'll avoid everything that you need to do. So. I can assist you and advise you on all of that also. And
perfect.
You have my information, and I'm at your service.
Absolutely. No. And again, guys, don't forget, if you want to write it down real quick, it's 507-6612-7746. That's his WhatsApp number. You can get a hold of him from anywhere in the world. And again, any information you need, get this stuff done. If you're class of 82 or even class of 87, Ralphie's class, those guys are going down there in next January as well. If you're looking at getting this stuff done, don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah. Okay? Just drop me a line. I'll tell you what you need, and you have time to do it, and we can do it.
Absolutely.
If everything comes in on time, I can get it for you.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, listen, Rodolfo, again, thank you for taking the time to do this. We learned a lot about carnivals and Las Tablas.
Thank you for the invitation. I love participating.
No,
all right. We'll definitely have you on.
Yeah.
Because you bring a lot of knowledge of the traditions that we like to inform our viewers of.
No, and
Thank
you know
you.
what? Seriously, let's work on a Panama Papers show. I think that'll be a
for
lot of
sure.
fun, a lot of good information there, and maybe clarify a lot of things like you mentioned that that we get a bad rap for that when it really
and if
wasn't.
there's any Zonians involved, let us know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why not.
Right? That's it. That's right. We're all about full disclosure.
I just don't know them, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, no, we want to know. This is a Zonian show.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, salud. Thank you so much again for spending the time with us. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will stay in touch.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. All righty, guys.
Man, oh man, that was a lot of good stuff there, man. A lot of really cool information, Ricky. Like you're talking about, you're gonna get ready to retire here soon, and you want to know what are my options here?
Yep.
Medical, as far as your citizenship goes, as far as residency goes, and then of course you want to buy a house there. Okay, don't forget, if you're gonna buy a house anywhere near Las Tablas, figure out who you're buying from, whether they're calle arriba, calle abajo. Don't screw yourself by giving the wrong colors. Okay. Because it's important. They hold grudges there, apparently, man. So, but no, listen, if this was a lot of fun, learn some cool things about Carnival, learn some cool things about Carimañolas, learn some cool things about Sancocho even, right? So, what was the other one we learned? Ñame is not yams. Okay.
Well, no, we're going to explore that.
Yeah, we are.
We had about a 50-50 on whether it was or not.
Yep. Don't forget, guys, next week is our end of the month. We're going to do a great recap show. We're going to try and maybe squeeze in a Spillway edition in there. And then our March history with Dave Dawson, our Canal Zone historian. We got a great treat. Somebody that you saw chime in here a little while ago, Nodier Garcia, our Pan Canal Railroad guy, is going to join. They're going to team up on a great collaboration.
Yes.
We'll talk more about it next week, though. But Ricky, the bus just went by, man.
That's
So get us
our
outta
bus, our short bus. So we're out of here, guys. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. And it's our 2 shows from our 2nd year anniversary.
Salute, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you, Ricky.